me, Mario!
Good morning, my friends. This is Paul, and welcome to part 1 of my Super Mario 3D All-Stars review for the Nintendo Switch. Today we're going to be looking at Super Mario 64. However, it might not be as in-depth as you were probably hoping for, as I've already reviewed Super Mario 64 4 other times on this channel, 3 of which were of the DS version. So I highly recommend you watch those videos first if you really want a lot of information about this, if you're truly clueless about a 1996 game. If you're looking for the definitive way to play Super Mario 64, then this is not the version for you. I'm just going to come right out and say, if you have a Wii U, get the Virtual Console edition of Super Mario 64 DS. If you don't have a Wii U, or if the Virtual Console service has been shut down by the time you watch this, then get a 3DS and play the original DS version. As the controls may not be perfect, they weren't really designed with analog control in mind, but the 3DS Circle Pad will get the job done just fine. As opposed to this being a hypothetical Super Mario 64 Definitive Edition, as it seems like the Switch has been getting lately, this is the Nintendo 64 version with HD and upgrades so minor they're hardly even worth mentioning. I would hardly call this a remake, more like a quick and easy remaster so that Nintendo could cash on fans who have a lot of nostalgia, as well as offer these old games in a package so that modern gamers can experience them on the Switch. The biggest two things I spotted in this new version are you can play it anywhere, it's a lot shinier because it's in HD, although the textures are still pretty ugly, and the infamous "So long, Bowser" has been replaced with the generic "bye-bye" of the Japanese version, as well as when you shut the DS when playing Super Mario 64 DS. That's a little bit of a disappointment, but if you really need to hear those lines again, the Virtual Console version is still pretty dirt cheap, and it still has it. Overall, the main reason you'd want to pick this up is either you really want to feel Rumble, as Rumble support has never been offered in a North American release of Mario 64, if you really want to play Super Mario 64 wherever you want, or you simply cannot get it with Nintendo's other cheaper alternatives. Now, the real question is, what if you have to have this All-Stars version? Is there a definitive reason to get this for Super Mario 64? Well, I'm still sticking to my guns and saying I would recommend any other way of playing Mario 64 except on the Switch, just so that you can save on money. However, one benefit that the Switch version has is that it has the soundtrack. Yes, you can listen to every song on Super Mario 64, even the ditties that play when you get a star or when Mario accomplishes something important are included. And you can even play them with the Switch turned off so that you can experience it like you're listening to an iPod. That is such an outdated term. I need to get with the times. And Super Mario 64 has a really iconic soundtrack that I'm grateful that they preserved here. There is a bonus track at the very end that's a piano rendition of Piranha Plant's Lullaby, but apart from that, this is the same song and dance that you've heard on the Nintendo 64 in 1996, for better or for worse. And I'm not complaining, because I really like Super Mario 64's soundtrack. It doesn't try too hard to be both real and not real at the same time like Super Mario Sunshine did. And for that, I could listen to this, especially because the actual amount of songs in this is really short and repetitive. Super Mario 64 definitely has its moment of brilliance, and I'm going to talk about them in detail in my other reviews. But for now, let's just say that this is one of the earliest 3D platformers, and while a lot of people are going to overlook its flaws because they'll say, it's nostalgia, you can't harp on something that revolutionized gameplay, I can if you're going to re-release it and not do enough changes to bring it up to snuff with the modern games when you've done that with games like Dragon Quest XI and Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. So with that, if you really want to hear the soundtrack of Super Mario 64, as well as the 2 other games, then that would be a good version to pick this up. However, I wouldn't say, ooh, I need Super Mario 3D All-Stars, because I've never played Super Mario 64. There are other ways of doing it. You really don't need to get this. Better yet, wait to see if maybe Nintendo offers it in some other form, because this is a limited run game. As of the time of this recording, Super Mario 3D All-Stars will only be available for purchase until March 31st. What, is Nintendo going to storm disc replay and prevent people from selling their used copies? Doubt it, but be on the ready just in case. So with that said, I'm not going to give this a rating, because even though this version did come out in 2020, I want to wait until I finish all 3 games in Super Mario 3D All-Stars before I give a definitive score. That being said, while it is nice to be able to play Super Mario 64 anywhere, as well as relive all the nostalgia within my car if I really want to, I definitely think the DS version is the better bang for your buck, as you get more characters, more locations, much better graphics, and even though it doesn't have the rumble or the HD, it's still ultimately the better way to play it. And it also has several cool mini-games. So with that, thank you very much for watching. I'm sorry if this was shorter than you guys expected, but again, when you've reviewed this game as many times as I have, it gets tiring trying to think of a new thing to say every single time. New gamers might have a lot of trouble with the old-fashioned nature of how some of the wording choices are made, as well as the archaic level design and character models. But if they can get used to the old-fashioned controls and the terrible camera that has not been updated in the slightest, you can occasionally have some fun running around and doing nothing in Peach's backyard. But otherwise, I highly suggest finding another version to play. With that, thank you very much for watching, and until the next time, keep the faith, stay epic, God bless, and stay tuned for some fun in the sun, I hope, in Super Mario Sunshine. Bye-bye!